1987 Honda Fourtrax Foreman 350D. Stator and or pulse generator replacement. Hopefully I got the right parts and did not make a mistake getting Chinese ones. So far the tools I know you need: 10mm socket, 8mm socket, and a 12mm socket, as well as a pair of snap ring pliers. First thing you're going to want to do, remove the shifter, 10mm. Remove the bolt all the way, wiggle that off. Put your bolt back in there so you don't lose it. Next, you're going to want to remove these 6 bolts. They're all 8mm. Once you get those out, you'll be able to remove the cover. Then take out these two 12mm bolts. When you get those bolts out, they should look really long like this. Next up, there's a snap ring right there. If yours is anything like mine, absolutely caked in mud, might need a wire brush and a little screwdriver or something to find it. Next, take your right angled ones, find the deal, pick that up, take that off. Should come off pretty easy. It came off with this little deal, which is what you need. Next up, take a large steel hammer, set it to the side because you don't need it, and tap on this. I used a screwdriver to make it a little easier. You need to drive it forward, and it should look something like that. Next up, you gotta loosen that. It's a Phillips screwdriver. Then you gotta kind of push this forward, wiggle it up, get it around here. And I had to stick a hammer between right here and pry at it a little bit and pull. It came apart pretty hard, but mine's also kind of rusty. Alright, I also took my peg off. That's not necessary, but it made it easier to get to that bolt. You don't have to do it, but that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, that one, that one, that one, let's see, that one, that one, that one, that one, and I believe these two need to come out. I'll check to make sure here in a minute. Alright, I got all those bolts out. Little tip. Do what I did so you don't get them mixed up or lost. Another thing, put an oil pan under it, because when you pull this off, oil's going to go everywhere if you don't. Next up, on the right side, you got these two wires, a green one and a blue one. Unhook them, and you got this green plug right here. Unhook it, and those will come through there, and it is connected to the stator and the pulse generator. You will very carefully have to pry and wiggle to get this thing off, and try not to do what I did, and try not to do what I just did again, and drop pieces. In case you do drop that gear like I did, it goes right there, and the washer goes on the outside and meets up with the aluminum. Also, the shifter deal, it goes like that. It's going to want to probably come out with the side of the case, and just make sure you get it back in there. I don't know if you pull it out too far, if something inside will come undone, but just don't pull it out too far. Pull the case off of it, and it goes on this deal. Alright, next up, since the problem with mine, I do believe, is the pulse generator, I'm going to unhook this wire, take out these two screws, put the new one on it, ohm it out. It should be, from my understanding, between 50 and 200 ohms. This one ohmed out at 326, if I remember correctly. So yeah, if it's not that, I also need to ohm out my stator, and hopefully it's good. But if it's neither of those and that doesn't fix it, then my problem is my CDI box, more than likely. On a side note, thank you Honda for making these screws Phillips, because this one is pretty much all but stripped out. The other one I managed to get out by turning the screwdriver and tapping on it with a hammer. Been trying to do that with this one, and it pretty much just wants to round. Okay, if you don't own an impact driver, get one. Do not waste your time with a screwdriver on this. you'll do what I did. I managed to get it out with an impact driver. Good to go. Alright, when you put the screws back in, put them back in with a screwdriver, and just give them 1 or 2 light little bangs with the impact driver. Well, now I gotta clean off the gasket material so I can put the new gasket on, which is not gonna be fun. Get this gear off, which I can take the little cover off of the other side, which is, I mean, that comes off pretty easy. And I can put the gear on then, so I don't gotta worry about it. So that'd probably be the thing to do, is take the starter cover off, take the gears out, then you don't have to worry about this falling in the dirt. Yeah. Alrighty, then after you get your stator and or pulse generator replaced, whichever one you needed to do, you make sure this is clean enough, get your gasket scraped. That sucks. Just took me like half an hour or better. Make sure the surfaces are all clean before you put it back together, and you know, get that out of the way. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to pull the cover off and pull these gears out, which that's for the starter gears. And aside from that, just put it back together with the new gasket and new parts and test it out. And if that was your problem, it should work.